Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. Today is actually July 11th, 2022, if you can believe that. Let's get to the news, but before I get to the news, I just want to address something real quick. I so appreciate all your comments, and I so appreciate all the love and all the good vibes that you all send me. It really means so much. I want to just say something about people who feel the need to judge. When I was growing up, there was a saying, and it went like this, and I'm just, you know who you are. The saying was like this: if you can't say something nice, don't say anything. And that's what I'm going to say about that. There's no need to judge, and there's no need to bash, and there's no need for any of that. And I speak on behalf of myself and other psychics on YouTube. Just, you know who you are. And I've heard Marianne at Revealing Light, kind of have to address these sorts of things every once in a while. I just had to say it. If you have a judgment, we're not interested. So there's that. It's amazing what these psychics on YouTube are giving away for free. All right? The moon is in Sagittarius today, and it's happy, uplifting, and energetic, and good vibes. So let's not ruin it. And once again, I don't really respond to your comments because I don't want to play favorites, but thank you so much for all of you out there that have been so wonderful and so supportive. It means the world to me. It's just too bad that there are few sour apples sometimes seem to spoil the whole bunch. If you ever want to read about, vulnerability, or listen to Brene Brown talk about vulnerability, we're all vulnerable. It's what makes us human. So before posting a nasty comment or a judgmental comment, or you should do this or you shouldn't do that, consider how you would feel. I'm done. That was my lecture. Let's get to the news, shall we? Today we are on the eve of the January 6th committee hearings that are coming up tomorrow morning. I was so mixed up on the time. It seemed like they kept changing it, but I think they've settled on 10 a.m. And I think also they've settled on not doing the Thursday one. That one's been postponed. I had mentioned in a reading not too long ago that it was probably the last one. I feel more hearings than were planned. I feel more hearings coming up in August. So believe it or not, August is just a few short weeks away. And we are on the beginning, and I can feel it, the beginning of the full moon energy ramping up. If you look up in the sky, you can see that the full moon is waxing away. I hope you had a great weekend. We're going to look at what the January 6th hearings are going to produce, and I want to say one more thing, and then I promise I'll shut up about it. I'm just reporting the news from a psychic perspective, and I'm not fear-mongering. If you'd like to join us for Grassroots of Democracy, please do, because it really alleviates any of the natural concerns and worries that we have about our country when we're doing something about it. So the January 6th committee, take a look. I had mentioned, oh, there goes a card, flying away like I don't want to see it or something. Hang on. I had mentioned also that before they really talked about what they were going to be talking about, I had caught wind of that they were going to produce evidence about the extent of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the Boogaloo Boys and, the 3%ers or whatever they call themselves. They were going to present evidence as to how far they were planning to go. That is a little freaky. So I have said before that it was really going to be scary when we realized how close we came to losing our country. And the lever card comes up often around the January 6th committee. So actually, as a country, it's going to bring us closer together. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's going to bring us closer together. And even Fox has been airing the hearings, which is still astounding to me. Still amazing. Fox is airing the hearings. But as Americans, we're going to see people uniting more. Because in the midst of the darkness and the despair and the distress and the fear of what, oh my gosh, what if that had happened? What if that had happened? I mean, they had a death list. The Proud Boys had a death list. And this happens in other countries. It's not outside the realm of, you know, imagination. They planned to kill people that day. So this is the January 6th hearing tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., I believe, is saying that how we're going to just feel the sense of, oh my God, how could that have gone so far in this country? We have what I call a AAA threat, and that AAA threat is Americans against America. And influenced by a foreign country, definitely, I've been saying that all along. And the lever card is about how we, you know, it's kind of like we get, when we heard the Capitol police officers, every one of them that recounted their horrifying stories, we couldn't help, if we're normal human beings, but to feel compassion and empathy, and we feel like, you know, we want to open our hearts and reach out, and that's what the lever card is about. So it's kind of like, oh my God, what you went through. So a lot of compassion and kindness. And what my third card, where did it go? I had a third card and I flipped itself back over. I have the Eight of Pentacles, lots of evidence. And the Six of Pentacles, there will be more hearings. I do see that there will be more hearings. And actually, this is showing America coming up ahead through the hearings, with everything being so clear and not really, it's kind of like you can't defend that. Like, you can't defend what Trump did. You can't defend what the Proud Boys, you know, did, and the Oath Keepers. You can't defend it, and Bannon and Roger Stone and all that. So it's just, I know that people are hiding from the truth. People of a certain persuasion are hiding from the truth, but it's got to reach a critical mass point where enough people believe the truth, and things will shift, and we will be okay. We will be okay. I know that we're experiencing domestic terrorism and the reality of that. I mean, just look at what happened on the 4th of July, and it's making people question whether this is a winnable war. It's naturally making us question that. And you know what? It's the first time I really said it that way. I have been thinking about this as a war. And there's been such talk about Pluto return, and that's what was going on during the Civil War. I definitely think about what's going on with these right-wing militia groups as what's been going on as a war. And I really view, like, what Trump did, inciting that violent riot and knowing that there were weapons and not caring, in fact enjoying it. I consider that he went to war with America. And I actually saw a little bit, I didn't even know he was in Alaska, but because I was on YouTube and I saw David Pakman was live streaming the rally that Trump had in Alaska. It wasn't huge, but it was gravely disturbing that so many people, too many people, are still all about that, you know, every single thing that came out of his mouth was a lie. Every single thing that came out of his mouth was a lie. On the rally I guess was Friday or Saturday night. Unbelievable. It was just incredible. It's quite an experience to see those rallies. So I'm pulling 3 cards and I didn't even ask a question, but I do see, I'm talking about America. I keep on seeing this, and this is the sadness and the grieving that we're in, that it's gone this far. But the Magician indicates that we can turn it around if we put all our resources in the right direction. I mean our thought energy resources. It can turn around, and America can be restored to at least being reasonable. America can be restored to at least being reasonable. We have the capability, and if it gives you any hope, and I do want to instill that, the Democrats are ahead. In these races, a lot of these races, the Democrats are coming ahead. And the January 6th committee hearings will actually help the Democrats to do better. What we do have to get a handle on is the Supreme Court. So let's take a look at what's going on with Roe and Wade. And I know, like I had said, I saw a lot of snafus. I saw a lot of legal situations as a result of these abortion bans, these states just going all in on women don't have rights. I posted on my community page that I come across a clip of The Handmaid's Tale, which I have never watched because I'm afraid to watch it, and it was really striking how similar the way that the right-wing extremist Christians are to the story of The Handmaid's Tale in terms of how they're perceiving women. The one thing that I know for sure is we can't really, as a human species, we can't go backwards. We have to evolve and go forwards eventually. So it's not going to last. So I'm going to read specifically on Roe. We do have to go through this bumpy ride first, but this heinous criminal activity, anti-constitutional activity of taking away women's rights is it's not going to last. Now, because we psychics are not given the timeline, I just have to tell you, the guides are giving me that it will be in, you know, in dribs and drabs in terms of women getting their rights back. We haven't really seen the fallout yet, because, you know, the decision, you know, from a certain perspective, the decision just happened. You know, it's just going into effect. It was the end of June, so yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. The Two of Pentacles is about, it's going to be, you know, back and forth, dribs and drabs, you know, snafu here, snafu there, a lot of legal situations. I just did see on the news that there's all these different, you know, proposals being, you know, thrown out there, like one having an off-land floating hospital for an abortion clinic. It boggles my brain how much craziness this out-of-control rogue Supreme Court is creating in America, and the world for that matter. How much chaos it's creating, because we have a whole lot of issues that we need to deal with without creating all these extra problems. So I do see it's a balancing act right now, but it is being confronted legally. The Prince of Pentacles, it feels like there's a leader, a political leader, who's really going to be the spokesperson for, this is a male, standing up for women's rights, bringing back women's rights. It feels like a younger member of the Democratic Party. And the Four of Wands, it will be back and forth, a lot of back and forth. Some laws, you know, some bans actually happening, but then the ban being retracted, just a lot of like, whoa, kind of like nobody knows really what's going on, and nobody knows really what the rules are, and nobody knows, you know, if we're supposed to even abide by the Constitution or not. There's a lot of craziness, but there's some balance in the midst of it. In the middle of the chaos, there's always some order. It's true. It's very true. Chaos theory. That's what I've heard it called. I haven't thought about that in a long time. I'm going to look that up. Chaos theory. And I know a lot of you know a lot, so you'll probably write what chaos theory is. Aries really is. There's order. There's order. All is well somewhere. If you watch Church of Spirituality, I always sing that. All is well somewhere, even if you don't see it. Let's take a look at how Trump is feeling. I know that there's a movie, I forget the name of it. Maybe I don't know the name of it. That Holder is his last name. I remember that because I think of Eric Holder. There's a documentary this filmmaker made. I mean, that's just crazy that this we have this. It's really interesting that we have so much information, so much truth that we're working with. So that's good. This movie that was made is pretty much telling the whole story of the Trump family and what was going on, right, especially after the election when Trump lost the election. The other day I was thinking about, you know, this whole voter fraud thing and how we, you know, because I was thinking about my license. I have to make sure it has the right address on it. I'm in Massachusetts. Even though I'm in Massachusetts, the Republicans in Massachusetts are trying to make it difficult to vote. And it's, so I was thinking about the whole, like, oh, I have to make sure that everything's correct so that I can vote because of, you know, voter fraud. And then I realized, not that I don't know this, it's just that sometimes your mind's like, oh yeah, I have to make sure we prevent voter fraud. And then I was like, it was never a thing. Let's remind each other, it was never a thing. Voter fraud was never a thing. Let's not make things that aren't American like part of the lexicon. Anyway, so I'm looking at what Trump is feeling. Trump is still trying to kiss up, literally, kiss up to people that are, that can kind of throw him a bone, sort of. He's trying to kiss up to people that can help him. That's what Trump is doing. Trump is really convinced that he's not going to get in trouble. This is true. I can feel it. Why? How? He's trying to, the Two of Pentacles again. It's a balancing act for him. I think he's still, well, it doesn't take a psychic, right? A lot of this doesn't take a psychic to figure out. He right now, currently, he's figuring out ways to grift in a hurry. That's what I get. Ways to grift in a hurry. And I have, you know, this is the evidence from the January 6th committee. Yep, that's the evidence. And this is clear, this is truth prevailing. And right now, Trump thinks that he's gonna be just fine. That's what he thinks. He's gonna be just fine, but he really is juggling. But the truth and the evidence will prevail. Let's take a look at Georgia. Georgia, Georgia. Oh, if I sing, they'll take me off YouTube. I sing something that's copywritten. That one might not be. That song, Georgia, might be old enough that it's public domain. Okay, let's see. Georgia. Fani Willis. That woman, they have interesting karma. Trump and Fani Willis have interesting karma. I feel like there's some kind of a payback situation where she's going to get him back for what he did in a past lifetime. We'll see. Here's the situation in Georgia. It's going to take a little while to weigh it out. I know people hate to hear that because we've been waiting so long. But she's sitting on, what Fani Willis is sitting on in Georgia is so much that's clear as can be. It couldn't be any clearer how much, how blatantly, how against the law what Trump did with, you know, trying to manipulate, trying to tamper with the election. It's just, it's by the book. It's black and white, so to speak. And the Lover card is actually that there are a lot of people that are in favor of Trump being held accountable for his crimes in Georgia. Lover card has come up a really lot around January 6th. I mean, obviously, I mean, the Cosmic Tarot was a very romantic deck. Like Corey always says, they're always kissing. But the energy of the Lover card is people uniting. This is about people uniting. and seeing things in a truthful way. So this is Fani Willis, and in Georgia, she has, this is very, very neatly tied up with a ribbon in terms of being very thorough and complete, even more than the January 6th committee. So let's ask the pendulum, if I can find it. I might not be able to find it. Oh pendulum, like it's gonna come running. Wherefore art thou, pendulum? It's okay, I don't need it. We're just gonna pick 3 more cards about whether Trump is going to, how he's gonna fare with the January 6th committee hearings, outcomes, you know, like evidence and what's being presented to the American public. The Wheel of Fortune is a win. The Wheel of Fortune is a win for us. A win for us with the 6 of Pentacles. There's the Wheel of Fortune is this is a change of fate for him. And there's evidence again, the Princess of Cups. So as far as the January 6th committee goes, his fate is changing, and America's fate is changing as a result, 6 of Pentacles, of this very carefully, I mean, I gotta hand it to them. In Georgia and in New York, you know, Letitia James, they couldn't have done a better job. With the legal system, they could not. There's no way. It's just like it's A++. They've done excellent work. All these cases against Trump, they have done excellent work. They've left no stone unturned, except Roger Stone. We'll get to that. And they've done amazing work. So I think we can feel, I mean, it's still very scary what's going on, but I think we can take comfort in there are real true Americans that have really dedicated their lives to being the public servants that they are, that really want to see America succeed, and for us not to be victims of violence. Speaking of that, it just brought to mind that I didn't watch it. I was busy today, but I saw that Joe Biden was kind of celebrating some gun law reform, and the father of a Parkland shooting in Georgia, the high school there, yelled out, you know, and it reminded me of what Beto did with Governor Abbott. I hate to call him a governor. When Beto just shouted out, you're not doing anything. I don't remember exactly what he said. But, you know, that father who lost his son in the Parkland shooting, I just hear John Lewis saying, make good trouble, because it's really gotten to that point with gun violence, and we'll look at that next, where it's been since Columbine. Really? Nothing? We're just going to keep it going? So it's time. We've reached the breaking point. We will see more of that. We will see people shouting and making good trouble. So let's take a look. Gun laws. We will see more shootings. This will be the summer of shootings. I hate to break it to you, but as I always say, it doesn't take a psychic. This will be a summer of more shootings. It's also going to be a summer of a lot of heat. That's for sure. So here it is. As far as gun reform, the High Priestess means that there are a lot of secrets being kept, and I do feel, for entertainment purposes only, that Joe Biden is under pressure to not do very much. Sorry to break it to you. Joe Biden is under pressure to not do very much. And I feel like what's going on is kind of like, if you do that, we're not going to give you this. Joe Biden in a lot of areas is between a rock and a hard place, as we say, when somebody has no place they can really turn. No options. And the High Priestess is indicating that we don't know what's going on with that. But I get Mitch McConnell is popping into my head. Mitch McConnell is actually, what I'm getting is Mitch McConnell is actually threatening, entertainment purposes only, that if Biden goes through with gun reform, like meaningful gun reform, that Mitch McConnell will not help him. He's not going to help him anyway, so I don't know really why that would matter. But I think there are some very important things. What I'm confused about is that that's what Mitch McConnell does anyway, but maybe Mitch would promise to go ahead with this gun reform, with stronger gun reform laws, and I just get this sense that he's going, you better not, or I'm not going to give you your gun control laws. Anyway, the Three of Cups, it's going to be the people that make the difference. The citizens of the United States that make all the difference in gun reform. And I did feel strongly that after the 4th of July, I can't even think about it, none of us can think about it, it's too horrifying. After that, something was going to shift too. So well, I think that remains to be seen. It is bringing people together. And that seems to be a theme tonight, is what's going on is actually bringing people together. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it with, you know, Grassroots of Democracy. It's bringing people together. I mean, even on like a smaller scale like that. By the way, please pass the word. Grassroots of Democracy is doing really well. If you'd like to join us, it's grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and type AYE in the subject line. Please join us. It's good to get together. We're getting to know each other. We're all becoming friends. Good to get to know each other in our group and to really, you know, do some good work. And tomorrow night, if you send an email to annettedionpsychic@gmail.com, if you'd like to meditate with us for 20 minutes, as we visualize an America that's loving and kind and healed, join us for that. Type 20 in the subject line, annettedion7@gmail.com. Okay, let's take a look at Clarence Thomas himself. I feel like he's going to be forced to resign his seat, at minimum to recuse himself. And let's just see what else. Because I actually get that he was working with Ginny on the insurrection. That I get really strongly that he knew full well what he was doing, what she was doing, what they were doing together, because they're a team. And just about when I mentioned the Trump rally, it's striking to me how much the people that are still on board with Trump are, I say it all the time, but I mean, today I was thinking, you know, the Jim Jones cult and how he actually got them to drink the Kool-Aid with the poison and they all died. It was like 800 people or something. That was such a horrible thing in the 70s. And then I was thinking about Trump asking people, you know, recommending that people drink bleach for COVID, to get rid of COVID. And Dr. Burke was sitting there absolutely horrified. We were all horrified. But people actually did. and you know, you can't help but wonder, how did they get so gullible? Clarence Thomas. Okay, the Empress represents the United States. The Sun represents this situation with Clarence Thomas. The light is going to be shown on Clarence Thomas. I don't think it's going to be at tomorrow's hearings, but I do feel like it's going, and I feel like Liz Cheney knows. Liz Cheney knows that Ginny and Clarence Thomas were in on the insurrection together. It wasn't like Clarence is going, oh, okay, honey, go talk to your, book club. It wasn't like that. I see them conversing over dinner about how to put the insurrection together. And I see prior to January 6th, Ginny getting very, very, very excited, like fanatical excited about what they were getting ready to do. So, I probably should find my pendulum. So, oh, well, I'll just have to come on again. Sometimes it literally walks away. I'll have to come on again and do, I will, I promise. Oh dear. So, I feel like Liz Cheney knows about Clarence and Ginny Thomas. I mean, what we want to look at, oh, here it is. It was hiding under my little cloth, my little astrology cloth. It just went, it just like hid under the blanket. Is Mark Meadows going to be prosecuted? He is. He's going to be prosecuted. Mark Meadows is going to be prosecuted. Is Steve Bannon going to be prosecuted? Steve Bannon's going to be prosecuted. Now, when I say prosecuted, I'm thinking jail. Is Mark Meadows going to jail? Is Mark Meadows going to jail? Wow, it looks like he is. Let's take a look at the cards. Let's take a look at Mark Meadows. I'm not going to keep you too long. I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't keep you too long. You probably have other things to do. Get right to the point. Mark Meadows. Do these cards just keep coming up? You know, it's funny because these cards keep coming up. They're all sixes. This is Mark Meadows. This is all the evidence against Mark Meadows. And this is the King of Cups. I feel like this represents Jamie Raskin. I feel like Jamie Raskin really knows a lot too. And I did get, in the readings that I did Friday Night Live, which is always fun, I feel like Jamie Raskin is going to really shine in these hearings. And he knows stuff. He knows stuff. I'm starting to see, you know, cut and dried. I'm starting to see the words cut and dried. A lot of this is going to be cut and dried. It's going to be like, there's no question. Let's take a look at Merrick Garland. Let me tune into Merrick Garland. I tune into Merrick Garland and I get this. It takes as long as it takes. That's exactly what I get. Let's look. Merrick Garland. And then I have a vision of Trump being sick. Physically sick. I see Merrick Garland and I see Trump being physically sick. He's got the goods. Merrick Garland has the goods. I can't believe how much this card is coming up. I'm shuffling. And it's all about the evidence. And Merrick Garland is going to, and I get this every time, he's going to wait until the evidence is so abundant that it's just kind of, it just becomes kind of like this. When something's right in front of your face, you don't really have to convince somebody. I don't know, if you saw like some sort of an exhibit and you were with a friend and your friend was like, oh, there's no exhibit. I've not seen that exhibit. And then like you walk by it and you go, here, look, there's an exhibit. And it's just like that with the January 6th committee and Merrick Garland. He's waiting until it's as obvious as can be to the American people. It's right there. There's no questions to be asked. And that goes for Fox News too. I just got that. That will go for Fox News too. Where the people that watch Fox, not all of them, will, you've seen some of the people, some of the talking heads on Fox say, I think Brett Baer might be one of them, say, you've seen them say, well, that seems pretty bad, don't you think? You know, people trying to, you know, kill our leaders, that seems kind of bad, don't you think? So Merrick Garland is kind of, it's not that he's waiting, but he does want the January 6th committee to finish the public hearings before he does anything more. Or anything, I should say. One more thing. Steve Bannon. What's going to happen with Steve Bannon? That Steve Bannon is so full of himself, it almost makes you nauseous because there's nothing attractive And I mean through and through. Steve Bannon is going to be looking at, believe it or not, he's going to be having regrets. And the water that's overflowing from the chalices there makes me feel like real tears. We don't know. If people cry in private, we don't know. But I kind of feel like Steve Bannon is going to be crying in private. Because there's very clear communication. I know that he wanted to make a mockery of the January 6th committee. How dare he? So they're not going to have him on live. Good thing. That's kind of like having Jim Jordan on live. Who wants to listen to that? There is going to be, tomorrow there'll be one of the Proud Boys. I don't know which one. Anyway. And the Princess of Pentacles. It looks like a female lawyer. So this is about Steve Bannon. Gosh. He wants to flee the country. I see him wanting to go to some island. Is he going to be able to flee the country? Is Steve Bannon going to be able to flee the country? No. All right, let's go to Peter Navarro. Haven't seen much of him lately. He must be just hiding out. Peter Navarro. I see Peter Navarro in the South, like in Florida. Maybe he's hanging with the Proud Boys. Peter Navarro is feeling kind of isolated and trying to get Trump on his side. But the strength of the January 6th committee is going to pull him in. Yeah, so he's doing what he can to get others on his side, and he's trying to do some kind of a plea bargain. Navarro is. That's what I get on him. And one more. Let's do Roger Stone. It's gross. It's really gross getting into this energy. Roger Stone, when I tune into him, he's mentally, he's off the rails mentally. Not that they all aren't, but he's just like, Roger Stone, to me, it feels like Roger Stone thinks he's in a movie. I don't know what kind of movie. He thinks he's in the movie, He thinks he's in the movies where Roger Stone thinks he's in the movies where he's the hero. He's the star. The January 6th committee is coming after him pretty quickly. And tomorrow will be the day that they find out the Roger Stone involvement. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. I really just feel like, you know, with the reading tonight, it's a slam dunk in terms of guilt and prosecution, and it's right there. It's glaringly obvious. Let's take a look at how America is going to do when the hearings have ended. How are we going to do as Americans? How are we going to do? How is this going to affect the collective energy? The Lover card, it's what I've been saying. It's going to bring us closer together. Have compassion for the people that got fooled by Trump. And I really, really mean that in all seriousness. Have compassion for people that got fooled by Trump. There's some very good people that are just gullible. And I have said that before. Have compassion. Because they don't have the access to good information. They're maybe not, you know, educated enough to be able to think about what they're doing. People get conned all the time. You know, think of old people that are home, that are lonely, that answer the phone and they get scammed because they think that the other person must be a good person. I mean, we have to have compassion, people. We have to. And I know I'm not describing anyone, but at least let's have compassion, you know, like everyone. But at least have compassion for the people that have followed this con man who just didn't know. They just didn't know any better. Because they're going to need a lot of love. And as I said, you know, I'm not talking about everyone, but there's a pretty significant segment of the population that Donald J. Trump doesn't give a rat's ass about. He wishes he didn't have those kinds of people at his rallies. We know that this is true. We've heard him say that in so many words. I feel like it's the females that are going to really shine after the January 6th committee hearings. This is not related to that, but kind of. The females being treated the way that they're about to be treated in conjunction with, you know, banning abortion, in conjunction with the January 6th hearings, as it's going to create a massive critical mass that's going to push this country in a new direction. And the lover card is coming up. We will love one another again. And I am not just saying that. You will see it. And see it in your mind's eye and keep on seeing it. Because it will make a difference if you even visualize it too. So, I want to mention that on Wednesdays, it looks like we're on schedule every Wednesday to do the show with, we call it the Psychic and the Sidekick, me and Corey. It's getting to be really a thing, and I love that you guys show up and listen to us for way too long. Wednesday, 6:30, and Eastern time, live if you want to catch us live, but you have to go to Bridge Cape Ann for that. So go to YouTube, type in Bridge Cape Ann, and you can see our show Wednesdays live. And then the last Wednesday of July, I'm going to do a channeling again. I'm going to channel some other people like I did on the 4th of July, which was so popular. You all caught me off guard. I didn't know you'd like that so much. Okay. That's what I have for you tonight, and that's the way it is. So I'll see you again soon, and thank you for all your support. Sorry I was a little cranky at the beginning, but, you know, these comments, they can really get to you. Love you. Namaste. See you soon.